What screams, "I'm poor, but pretending to be rich"? Story 1. Going out for a big fancy meal to a nice restaurant and dressed to the nines, but you show up an hour and a half late, order the cheapest stuff on the menu, complain that the soda is flat in the hopes that it'll all be comped, refuse to drink anything because it's expensive, take 45 minutes to figure out the bill because the restaurant can't split checks, and you've got to dig in your bag for the extra $10 bill, have several cards decline, and then not tip. And all throughout the night being more interested in taking pictures in the beautiful restaurant to post on Instagram and pretend like you live like this all the time than enjoying the actual food. This happens at my workplace every single weekend. We started putting the gratuity on any tables that fulfill a certain checklist because we know we'll get screwed otherwise. For real, I once served a table like this where the girl's card declined. When I brought it back to her to tell her what had happened, she already knew because the bank texted her. She was only then moving money from savings into checking on her phone, and I happened to see over her shoulder that she had $38 in checking. Who the hell goes out to a Manhattan steakhouse with $38 in the bank? Story 2. Okay, I'll likely get downvoted, but sending your kids to private school when you can't really afford it. Not because the education is better than a state school, but because you want everyone to know that your kid goes to a certain school. Here in Australia, there are state schools, free/cheapest, then Catholic schools, very religious and medium level expensive, then private schools, expensive. This can especially be said for people who are not Catholic who choose to send their children to Catholic schools. They put their kids' names on a list at birth, pay about $5,000 a year for their kids' entire school lives, all the while having no interest in Catholicism and thinking it makes their kids and them seem better. Story 3. A base model luxury car, like a BMW 220i or 320i or a MB CLA, an Audi base level A3/A4, etc. They will go around touting, "I drive a BMW," but they likely have it on lease and are overpaying for what the car provides. I mean, the 20i engine is what, 180 horsepower? But it has a badge of BMW, and they bank on the fact that most people don't know cars that well, so they can pretend to be fancy. Now, this isn't everyone who drives those cars. Some people just like the styling of the car, but didn't want to pay real luxury car prices, so they get the cheapest model they can. But those are the rarity because most of those can get much better deal with a Toyota Camry. And people who actually like BMW as a car company, an actual car enthusiast, they'd rather get a used 35 engine at least. Where I live, you see a lot of these base model leases driving around. It makes you chuckle. It's always driven by the same guy too, the guy who has an air of, "I'll be your boss soon enough," but he looks like he has barely recovered from his weekend of partying as he drives to his cubicle. I don't know crap about cars, so half of this went over my head. I also just don't care about cars, and the idea of paying for anything other than genuinely useful features is ludicrous to me. I don't care if the damn thing is stylish and luxurious. Does the AC kick in pretty fast? Sold. Story 4. Taking pictures of your money. That just screams, "Rob me." There was a case of a rapper called Pop Smoke that took pictures of his money, or his manager, I don't remember, on Instagram and didn't realize the number of his house in Beverly Hills was on the picture. He got killed in his own house the same day. Story 5. Wearing a $20,000+ watch and driving a new BMW/Mercedes, but still living with your parents. Hey, this is sometimes. I know a guy who had an IT job at Exxon straight out of college, makes like $200K a year, and just bought his first car, a Tesla, a year out of college, but his job is in the same city as his parents, so he just lives with them. Story 6. I'm my own boss. Being my own boss, as in being a broke self-employed person with a lot of earning potential as opposed to actual current income, effing sucks. Anyone that tells you being your own boss is great and easy is a liar, LOL. You can't shirk your work onto someone else. You have to manage your own time and headspace, and especially if you don't have an office separate from your home, that's particularly hard to do. It honestly took me 5 effing years to fix my crappy work ethic enough to be able to barely manage my project's due dates properly. Story 7. Wearing anything Supreme. Outside of YouTubers, I've never seen a wealthy person owned this brand or any related products. Seems to be specifically made for this question. Nah, Kim Kardashian, Kanye, Bieber, A$AP Rocky, John Mayer, Victoria Beckham, and Tyler the Creator all wear Supreme. Anything legit by them outside of boxers and tees are pretty much first come, first serve, and then is sold afterwards for ridiculous markups. I'd put the boxers and tees into the poor, but pretending to be a rich category, but otherwise probably gonna have some quid to get it. I didn't understand half of this friggin' story. What the hell is Supreme? I'm a YouTuber and I've never even heard of it. And I can just about guarantee you I'll never wear it, unless they make a good oversized drug rug or some really comfy Thai fisherman pants. That's my jam. Story 8. Actually caring if someone thinks you're rich or not. My immediate family is pretty well off, most engineers, and doing fine. My cousin's husband at every holiday makes it an obvious point to bring up all of his purchases and shove it in our faces. I guess because he's threatened that other people in our family have money and we don't have to brag at every chance. He accidentally leaves his Rolex case out and then goes on a rant about his jewelry collection, brags endlessly about his new sneakers strictly because they were expensive. And every effing Christmas, he pulls out his imported coffee that he has to make and forces us all to try, almost like a show. He almost had a stroke when I put creamer in mine. He's not poor, but the way he tries to boast about his money makes him look so cheap. Story 9. Head-to-toe designer clothing. The incredibly wealthy people I know tend to downplay it, including their style. The wealthiest person I know, that I personally know I should say, shops almost exclusively at The Gap. No flashy brand names. She makes $25,000 a week and likes to wear comfy long-sleeve t-shirts and well-worn blue jeans. Her biggest purchase she made recently was a cow to take care of and be friends with. Story 10. Bragging to the bouncer at the strip club about how much money you have, despite the fact that I saw the EBT card in your wallet while you were pulling out your ID. Story 11. I used to work with some dude who would flash their cash and didn't have a bank account. Funny enough, come Monday, that money would be gone. Story 12. Conspicuous consumption. There are many reasons why truly wealthy people don't make a fuss, which includes, but is not limited to, the following: not wanting to get robbed or kidnapped, anonymity. Many luxury brands are big on price and low on quality. A few $100s for a pair of shoes that'll only last a year? No thanks. There are vastly more downsides to telegraphing your wealth in public than there are benefits. You don't need to wear brand names to have an ego trip. Just knowing you'll never want for anything in life, that financial tragedy will never be a problem, and you can rack up tens of thousands of dollars on a credit card for convenience sake and pay it off in the blink of an eye are enough to keep any smugness meter at capacity. Oh man, that whole financial tragedy will never be a problem line hit hard. Like, I tend to think about rich people in all these superficial ways, but the moment I'm reminded that they are basically immune to real financial tragedy, wowzers, the jealousy I feel is palpable. Story 13. Lexus sits in the driveway, but she has to get rides everywhere because it's not running. This is definitely not about my grandma. Story 14. There's definitely higher quality brands that are a bit more expensive but don't scream, "Look at me." Patagonia is one that gets a lot of hate on here but isn't that expensive. Plenty of casual brands that are on a similar tier. I swear by Brooks Brothers for work and Nicer Casual because their stuff holds up extremely well for multiple seasons. I think to me it's more the in-your-face designer branding. Look how much I paid for this on things like t-shirts or golf shirts that set off the trigger more than a higher quality brand. Story 15. Unrepaired collision damage on an otherwise flashy car. Oh gosh, this reminds me of Angeline. If anyone has ever lived in or around Los Angeles, they know Angeline. She's constantly seen driving around town all day, every day in her pink Corvette with a smashed taillight and corner bumper damage. Story 16. A 10-year-old Escalade with 250,000 miles that you're paying $25,000 for at the buy here, pay here special credit lot. Gotta have those rented rims too. Actually, I wonder what happens if the rim repo guy gets there before the Escalade repo guy. Do they just drag it off the bricks onto the flatbread? Does the rim guy even use bricks? Story 17. I have the nicest car out of all my friends by far. I'm also the most broke by far. Priorities, right? One of my favorite YouTubers, Jimmy Broadbent, just bought his third car, a Nissan GTR, and he still lives in a shed at the bottom of his mom's garden. I don't know who that is, but Jimmy, it might be time to get a different place. Listen to Mainly Facts guy, Jimmy, and maybe toss one of those cars this way. Story 18. Big house with nothing in it. When your living room is only a crappy Walmart leather sofa and old recliner and a TV, it's a dead giveaway. People with money have curtains, lamps galore, paintings and portraits, $2,000 sofas, expensive rugs, and decorations all over. Even rich people with zero taste have their rooms packed with bullcrap. Story 19. Instagram influencers. Unless you're an actual celebrity, I don't believe for a minute that you're living the life of luxury that you claim to be. Story 20. Thing is, it can be an actual job, but it's promotional and marketing work. The challenge is that people can just put on a couple of pics of themselves, get 12 followers, and call themselves influencers. Then start touting themselves as such. People who actually influence others to buy stuff and take it seriously will be able to approach a company with all the info and its relevance and can cite previously run campaigns, and sometimes even have the incident/purchase/click-through rate from them. The most successful ones have a genuine interest in a niche culture or hobby and would probably be doing the blog, the vlog, or Instagram regardless of sponsorship. Story 21. Saying the words, "Do you know who I am?" when yelling at you would then knock off Gucci clothes with a Karen haircut. Grabs mic. "Attention everyone, apparently this woman has forgotten who she is. Is there someone who knows her? Please report to the front desk. Thank you." "Do you know who I am? I'm the guy who's gonna burn your house down with the lemons." Story 22. Michael Kors every time. "We have no intent on being flashy, but my mom has a MK purse that she got from work because it was a prize, not because she paid for it, but it's a nice black purse with a tiny logo. You can also get those purses at TJ Maxx for around $60 to $150. Not that much money to spend on a purse considering people spend thousands. However, flaunting your MK purse only tells me you shop at TJ Maxx or Marshalls. That is all. Story 23. Social media posts showing off money, cars, firearms, usually handling them in a dangerous way, and other somewhat pricey items with captions like, "I'm going places," or something similar. People that have wealth typically don't feel the need to flaunt it. They're too busy chasing more success. Story 24. Fake Rolex. I have a Rolex that my father gave to me. I love it. It's a pretty watch. I have had to stop wearing it because every time I do, people love to loudly ask me whether it's real and how much it costs, etc. Yes, Steve, it's real. I didn't buy it. It was a gift. No, I don't want to sell a nice gift that I really like for some cash. I know it's real because there are papers and documentation. Also, it's 3:44 p.m. What the F? I am not joking. I literally read that and thought, I wonder what time it is. It's 3:44 p.m. What? Story 25. Massive credit card debt. Remember that old commercial? I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. I just took my BMW to the dealership to get it serviced. Yeah, then I drove my BMW to the coffee shop and parked my BMW in the parking lot. Then I drove home and parked my BMW in the garage. Did I mention it's my BMW? An average suburban Joe. People do that with the word iPhone too. They just swapped phone for iPhone as if anyone is actually impressed that you have the same phone as the majority of people. Story 26. A guy who's just a working stiff like everyone else around here, but he boasts that he paid full price for everything. Pickup, boat, furniture, travel trailer, dirt bike, hunting and fishing gear. Didn't even bargain or make an offer. He'll ask how much someone paid for whatever, then say, "I paid full price." This doesn't make him look rich, it makes him look dumb. Please like and subscribe if you made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day. Story 27. iPhone 11 Pro Max with a cracked screen. Story 28. My narcissistic parents are buying sports cars that get repoed. The trick is to make car payments to yourself into a savings account. Then buy the car in cash once you have enough. Can't be repossessed if you don't owe anyone money. Story 29. Purchasing an old but not old enough to be considered classic/vintage BMW or Mercedes. It also screams, "I'm stupid" for the money pit they just invested in. Depends. An old BMW or Merc is a solid choice if you need something big, comfy, and easy to keep on the road. Parts are cheap and they're simple to work on. Story 30. Massive credit card debt. Remember that old commercial? I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. Story 31. The richest ladies are driving around in old Subarus with gray bowl haircuts, elastic waist jeans, a nice LV bean fleece, and covered in cat hair. They're usually seen at the library. I saw this old Asian lady at the gas station, dresses like a hobo, dirty clothes, cat hair everywhere, driving a brand new Infiniti SUV. Frankly, I'm most interested in the people who dress up like whatever those people at fashion shows wear. You know, they're wearing like oranges and inflated garbage bags. I don't care if they're rich or not. They are entertaining. Story 32. Being rude to service staff. People who are not nice to service staff are not nice people. No idea where I heard it, but I live by it though. Story 33. Truck worth over $50,000 in a driveway of a trailer. Only $50,000? The old kids in my area all have trucks probably $60,000 to $70,000. I'd imagine their payments are $1,200 to $1,500 a month. Wouldn't it be a shame now when all the oil products dwindle down and there is no savings or other job prospects to fall back on? Story 38. Always the fake designer clothes. It's crazy how much I saw the fake designer clothes in the Philippines. From Gucci flip-flops to Supreme hoodies to Louis Vuitton bags, they're almost everywhere. I don't think it's meant to show you're rich though, at least not where I live. People mostly want those because other stuff looks good and it's cheap. Story 35. Purses and clothing with designer names plastered all over them like cheap advertising. Story 36. Honestly, driving a Chrysler, especially a Chrysler 300, is the poor person's Bentley and is the car of choice for most drug dealers I've noticed. Who are all you people talking about cars? This doesn't mean anything to me, and I refuse to learn more about your stupid vehicle culture. Ugh, the poor person's Bentley. Just shut up. I'm getting all fired up talking about stupid rich people crap. Story 37. Waiting in line for the new J's. Rich people don't wait in line to buy $300 shoes. They order them online because it's not even close to the nicest thing they own. Story 38. Just a personal anecdote, but my parents have some money, XX million net worth, and they tend to just lease some of the lower-end Mercedes and BMW cars with some added bells and whistles. Like a C300 Benz or an X3 BMW, they like how the cars drive. If there's an issue, they drop it off at the dealer to take care of it and like to keep up to date on new features, so leasing for 2 to 3 years is fine for them. Obviously, they could drive much more expensive cars, but for them, they just want to be comfortable and safe. The more entry-model luxury cars fit that bill. Story 39. Truly wealthy people don't waste their money of flashy, overpriced things. Flashy clothes, expensive cars, and gaudy jewelry are all usually signs of someone faking wealth. Some of the richest people I personally know, the most wealthy of which was worth about $30 million last I knew, drives crappy cars because they work and don't need to be replaced, wear clothes that aren't necessarily cheap but are of great quality and will last a long time, and generally spend the bulk of their money on more investments to further their wealth instead of flashy liabilities that will lose all their value in a year or two. Story 40. A Mercedes-Benz C-Class pre-owned and getting the dealership sticker removed. Definitely not talking about my aunt. That's a smart move. You can get a couple-year-old maxed-out car for less money than a brand-new base model, plus certified pre-owned cars usually have pretty great warranties. Dealership stickers are ugly and ruin the look of any car. I'm so sick of talking about frickin' cars. This video's done. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.